The year is 2015 in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and a graduate student named Joy is building something joyous. It's a smart mirror. You look into it, and face tracking software projects something fun back onto your reflection. A lion's mane, a hero's face, etc. She calls it the Aspire mirror, and it works beautifully, but with one exception. It can't seem to find her face. So she checks the lighting, she adjusts the camera angle, but no luck. The strange thing is that the software tracks her lab mates without a hitch, but it consistently loses her the moment she sits back down. So late one night, out of ideas, she picks up a white plastic Halloween mask lying nearby. And the instant the mask covers her face, the tracking system suddenly works. The computer cannot seem to find Joy's face, but it tracks a lifeless white mask perfectly fine. In her words, she had to wear a white mask to have her dark skin detected. Now, it was not surprising that the software failed. Software fails all the time. But what bugged Joy was a question that lies at the center of today's lecture. Was this a random failure that could happen to anyone? Or was it a failure with only one direction? One that keeps landing on a certain kind of face, but not on others. Joy's question is exactly where the last lecture left us. See, every error we covered last time was wrong, but in a checkable way. A source that didn't exist, a date that didn't exactly hold, etc. But at the end, I warned you that some outputs may pass every check and could still be wrong, quietly, in one consistent direction, for the same people, every time. That is what bias is. See, AI systems are statistical in nature, and in that sense, they're all a form of dice rolling. And just like when you roll a dice, you expect you're going to get some variation with each roll. That kind of variation is normal, it's expected, it's part of what comes with using the tools. But when AI systems are biased, it's like playing with a loaded dice. Every single roll looks normal. The problem only exists across a large number of rolls. So a bias tilts the result in a certain way that may or may not be obvious. That is to say, there are two kinds of bias. The first is a loud bias. Stereotypes you can easily catch with your own eyes once you know how to look for them. The second is a more insidious kind of bias because it's quiet. It hides inside reasonable, polite, plausible answers and takes more work to drag into view. By the end of this lecture, I want to give you the tools to spot both. So let's start with the obvious kind of bias, the patterns that anyone can see with their eyes. In 2023, two Bloomberg reporters ran a simple experiment on Stable Diffusion, one of the world's most popular image generators. They generated over 5,000 headshots from very plain and innocuous prompts: a CEO, a doctor, a judge, an inmate. And then they sat down and studied who the machine imagined. Now, the world, according to Stable Diffusion at that time, was almost entirely run by lighter-skinned men. It gave fast food workers darker skin 70% of the time, but in reality, 70% of American fast food workers are white. So the machine was not mirroring the world, and you probably already know the answer why. It's what we covered in Lecture 3. These systems squeeze patterns from data, and in this case, pictures from the internet. But as we all know, the internet can overrepresent some facts and underrepresent others. So when it's squeezing a million non-representational images into its idea of a typical CEO, a stereotype is what becomes the most likely answer. Now, to their credit, as this type of bias continues to be identified, companies have worked to make corrections. And in February of 2024, the world actually watched as there was an almost comical overcorrection by Google. You see, they had intentionally tuned their Gemini model to show a diverse range of people when generating image responses. That's reasonable. Except that the tuning they applied was to everything, in every context, including historical figures. So, when users asked for things like photos of America's founding fathers, they got portraits that, let's just say, wouldn't match a textbook. Within a few days, Google had to pause Gemini's people images entirely and even apologize. If you hold both of these failure modes together, you get the real lesson here. See, leaning into a stereotype is obviously bias, but leaning away from reality is also a kind of bias. Every model is tuned by human choices, so the useful question is never, is it biased, but which way is it biased, how much, and does it matter here? For pictures, your own eyes can run a lot of those checks, but words are not pictures. And companies, in the best of intentions, have had a few years to work and polish the visible stereotypes off of their AI tools, including their chatbots. So if you ask one directly about any group, you're probably going to get a warm and surface-level fair response. The issue is that the bias may not have vanished. It may have just moved below the surface, where, in fact, researchers seem to keep finding it hiding in three places. The first place where AI bias hides is with respect to who the answer is about. In 2024, researchers asked leading chatbots for some everyday advice, like how much you should offer for a used bicycle, or what the standard salary you should offer to a new hire is. Now, each scenario was run again and again, word for word, everything kept identical except for one hopefully irrelevant detail, which is what was the person's name. And that seemingly irrelevant name changed the numbers. Across 42 scenarios and several major models at the time, just changing the name resulted in drastically different outcomes. Specifically, names suggesting white men drew consistently better advice, better outcomes, more positive recommendations. Whereas names associated with Black people and Black women, most of all, drew lower offers, lower salaries, worse predicted outcomes. It's important to notice here, though, that there was no obvious bias anywhere in the individual responses. So there was no one sentence you could underline because each answer was polite, it was professional, it was plausible. The bias only existed in the comparison, which is why no one chatting would normally ever see it. But the bias runs deeper than just names. A 2024 study in the journal Nature found that models saying glowing things about Black people, when asked directly, would quietly assign worse jobs, more guilty verdicts, and even worse sentences in mock trials. And that's when the only clue was how someone wrote. The companies have polished the surface of these tools, but at the root, the issue can still remain. So how do you detect this first kind of bias, the same one that the researchers studied? Well, you just flip the test. Take your question, keep every word constant, and change only the details that shouldn't matter. The name, the gender, the age, the nationality, the political party. Run each version in a fresh chat and compare the answers. And remember the dice analogy from earlier. You can't spot bias without rolling the dice a few times. Similarly, any one attribute will change the AI's response simply by chance. So if you want to detect bias, you should run it a few times. The second place where AI bias hides is much stranger. It's toward you. In 2023, researchers at Anthropic documented what the field calls sycophancy. If you show an AI a piece of writing and say that you love it, the review you're going to receive will be similarly glowing. If you show it the identical text and flip it around, say you hate it, the review suddenly sours. Or if you push back hard on a model, even when it gives you the correct answer, you can often pressure it to agree with your wrong answer. And this bias is not inherited from the internet, like the first one was. It's trained into the model afterward by all of us. You see, these assistants are polished using human ratings, that little thumbs up and thumbs down button that you have that sits next to the chat interface. And surprise, surprise, humans like it when machines agree with them. They rate those interactions more highly. The 2023 Anthropic study I mentioned earlier found that people and the preference models built from them can favor a confident, agreeable answer over a correct one. The machine learned what everyone who's ever worked a service job knows. Flattery scores you points. The way you detect sycophancy is by flipping the frame. Ask your question twice, but wearing opposing masks. The first mask, the true believer. I'm so excited about this investment in Dogecoin. Analyze it for me. The second mask is the skeptic. I think Dogecoin is an abomination. Doji, if I may. Analyze it critically. If the verdict tracks your mask, then congratulations, you've just detected sycophancy. The third place where AI bias hides is actually the most meta of the three. It's built into how we ask the machine the question. One clear example of this comes from American healthcare, where an algorithm touching nearly 200 million people a year helped decide which patients got extra care and which didn't. You see, the people who built the algorithm didn't have a direct way to measure the sickness of the population, so instead, they used a rational and convenient stand-in for that. How much money did you spend on your healthcare? It's a reasonable assumption, right? If you're sicker, you spend more. You're less sick, you spend less. The problem is that dollars are not sickness, and historically, less gets spent on Black patients. So the algorithm would read low spending as good health. And in 2019, when researchers lined the scores of this algorithm up against reality, at the same risk score, Black patients were significantly sicker. Now, if you fix the measure, the share of Black patients flagged for extra help would have jumped from under 18% to nearly half of the population. And here's the eeriest part of all this. The patient's race wasn't an input to this model. It didn't know what the race of the patients were. The bias lived in that one silent, rational assumption that cost measures need. And the answer kept the bias perfectly hidden. But now I want you to notice how they caught it. See, it wasn't a clever prompt or a fancy method. It was just a simple audit. They compared the machine's judgments against ground truth, split the results by group. That brings us back to Joy, the woman in the white mask that we introduced at the start of the video, because that's what her experiment ultimately led her to build. A balanced test set of over 1,000 faces of parliament members from 3 African countries and 3 European countries. She took that benchmark and she ran it against leading face tracking systems from IBM, Microsoft, and other major providers. And what she observed is that while the overall accuracy looked very respectable, when she split by group, the bias became obvious. Lighter-skinned men, errors close to 0. Darker-skinned women, like her, had errors as high as 1 in 3. Her 2018 study quantified what her personal experience with the mask had only hinted at. Bias can lie hidden in the averages. Now, the good news is, and I really sincerely mean this, I don't think most people want to be biased. I think, in fact, most people care enough that if you point bias out, they'll sincerely try to correct it. And the evidence of that is that within months, the companies that Joy's research audited shipped updates with dramatically smaller face tracking gaps. The creators of the health algorithm I mentioned earlier worked with the researchers on a fix to cut the bias significantly. So, when bias is measured systematically and rigorously, bias can be fixed. Now, don't worry, the assignments in this class are not going to require you to audit a major corporation, but I would like you to carry the 3 ways that you can detect bias with you into your careers. Flip the details. Change what should not matter and see what happens. Flip the frame. Pose the question first as a believer and then as a skeptic, and study the contrast. And finally, split the scoreboard. When you hear a system is accurate, ask yourself, for who? So one last thing about the white mask before we end today. You see, it's tempting to hear today's lesson as machines are prejudiced. But I don't think that's actually a fair characterization of AI tools. Any mind, digital or biological, that learns from the world will inevitably inherit some biases from it. In fact, I would take it one step further. I would argue that if both the machines and those who train them are biased, then the bias in the machine is actually less insidious than what we experience from our fellow humans. See, we learned earlier that machines don't lie, at least not intentionally. So you can run the bias detection checks above and see where they make mistakes. But you can't replay a Tuesday inside a recruiter's head with only the name of the candidate changed. With a model, you can, tonight, 100 times, totally for free. And that matters because a bias you can measure is a bias you can shrink. And that's the ultimate lesson of joy. Next time, we'll be discussing when AI error moves from the quiet failure of bias into the immediate danger for your health, your money, or your safety. When is it actually unsafe to use AI? That's the next video, and I'll see you there.